everyone. Welcome to economics class. Today we are going to see the theory of demand. But let me start by giving us the definition. Okay, now as I said, before we see the theory of demand, we have to define the concept in the first place. Demand can be defined as the total quantity of goods and services an individual is willing and able to buy at a particular price and period of time. So based on this definition, we can understand that as individuals are struggling or are trying to satisfy their numerous needs, they have to engage in decision making to buy goods and services. So the process they involve in buying these goods and services to satisfy their needs or their want is referred to as demand. But it is only described to be demand when it possesses the following conditions. Now, when an individual wants to buy something, that person must have agreement on the price, because at times the person may decide to buy something but may not have agreement on the price. Maybe the seller will dictate the price, or the market itself will set out the price, but the individual may not have peace of mind to buy that good. In that regard, we do not say that that person has what we call effective demand. Now, apart from having the first condition, which is agreement on the price, the next condition for demand to take place is willingness. That means the person has the intention to buy something. Why do I say so? The reason why is that even though an individual is not forced to buy something, but the person may decide to buy something, not it is his own intention. Maybe because he sees maybe he has friends that are buying the good, therefore he decides to buy it so that he will show them that he too has enough money to buy that good. So in that regard, we consider the person's decision to buy the good as not being effective. The next condition is, what we mean by ability here as a condition for demand is that having the money in the first place before the individual proceed to buy the good. No matter how we want to buy something, as long as we don't have the money, that is not effective demand. Sometimes we may decide to buy something, for example, a phone, a motorcycle, or a car, or even a house. But as long as we don't have the money, no matter how we want to buy that thing, then we don't have effective demand. But if we have the money, then we go ahead to buy it. So therefore, we have effective demand. Now, the next condition is time. Anything has a time. If you want to buy something at a particular time, then we can say that your activity will take place at that particular time. For example, you want to buy an exercise book. You want to resume school. So what time? Is it before the resumption date, or is it after the resumption date? So that time defines your effectiveness of the demand towards the exercise book. But there are sometimes, as I gave you the example, that you want to buy something, but you realize that you don't have money. So you have to suspend that decision until you have enough money, then you buy it. So the suspension of the decision make the demand to be ineffective. But when the time comes, you have enough time, you agree with the price, you are willing, you have the money, and at that time, then you have demand. Something about demand is that until it possesses all these conditions, then it is said to be effective demand. But when it lacks any one of these conditions, then it is considered to be ineffective demand. Now, we focus our attention on the law of demand. As we say law here, we don't mean the one being practiced in a court of law, but we mean it is a scientific statement about a concept that has been tested and found to be true over a long period of time. So this statement says that the higher the price of goods and services, the lower the quantity demanded, and the lower the price of goods and services, the higher the quantity demanded, other things being constant. So what do you mean by this statement? We say that whenever there is an increase in the price of goods and services, there will be a corresponding decrease in the demand for such goods and services, and vice versa. And other things that have relation with the demand for the goods and services are considered to be unchanged. That means the statement is built on the assumption that anything that is being sold in the market, whatever it is, has substitute goods or service. So this good, because it has substitute good, definitely there are some factors that are affecting the demand for the good in question. For example, a marker. A marker has different brands. That is the one being produced by different firms. Now, this marker having different brands that are producing the same quality but different brands may be affected. The demand for the marker may be affected by factors, for example, the price of other goods, the income of the consumers, those that are buying the goods, the population of the consumers, and other factors. So these are the things that we consider to be constant. So any one of them has to be the same so that this statement can be true. So we assume that other things to be the same so that whenever there is any change in the price, then it will affect the quantity demanded. As I said, if there is an increase in the price of goods and services, there will be a decrease in the quantity demanded. Other things have been constant and vice versa. This statement tries to give us a description of consumers. That means consumers tend to buy less of a particular good when the price of that good is decreasing. But on the other side, if the price is increasing, the same consumers will buy less of the good. To avoid any confusion about this brief explanation, I mean consumers in their own mind feel satisfied to buy goods that have lesser price, and they feel somehow not satisfied to buy goods that have high price. For example, egg. Now, as we can see, just of recently, the price of egg has increased. Now it is being sold at 2,700 naira per crate. But before, like 5 or 7, or let me say 10 months before, it was 2,000 per crate. Now, people will reduce the amount of egg they are buying. Why? Because the price has increased. But now suppose the price decreases to, let's say, 1,800 per crate. So definitely people will now buy more because it has decreased from 2,700 to 1,800. So there is a reduction of almost 900 naira. So that is how this statement tries, or the law of demand tries to give us a description about the behavior of consumers. People like to have a decrease in price so that they buy more of the good, and they try to buy less of the same good if the price is high. Now, all this statement is centered on goods that are referred to as normal good. So any good whose price is increasing while the demand for that good is decreasing is said to be normal good. But now we are going to see another alternative good whose price will be increasing, but the demand for that good will also be increasing. Now, as we have seen the law of demand, which is considered to be normal, we are now going to see the abnormal law of demand. This is another statement that tries to describe the behavior of a particular consumer that tends to buy more of a good whose price is increasing. So the statement says the higher the price of goods and services, the higher the quantity demanded, and vice versa. This vice versa means the opposite of statement is also true. So the opposite of the statement is the lower the price of goods and services, the lower the quantity demand. Other things in constant. So this one too has factors that are affecting it, as in the case of the previous one we have seen. For example, a gold necklace. A gold necklace, whether the price is increasing, those that are buying it will keep buying it. Why? Because the purpose of buying it is not necessarily for just adornment. People buy it to show up. People buy it just for ostentation or just to show how rich they are. But if it is for necessary, that is normal necklace that is not gold. So people can buy that one. But because, as I said, of the purpose, people buy the gold necklace so that they make a difference. So whether the price is increasing is not in their mind. That means it is not their concern. Their concern is to buy. But if the price of a gold necklace is decreasing, people will buy less of it because they know that the price is decreasing and people know about this situation.